I don't know. I worry, and the reason I don't know is because I don't know what to do. I worry that I'm letting my fear stop me from what I want. Now that, as vague as that is, what I am referring to is Xavier. Am I letting my fear of jail time affect whether or how I see him? For those who don't know, the PFA for preventing me from seeing my son because of his relationship to his mother was up the 2nd, which was Saturday. I already filed the paperwork for initiating shared custody. Um, Only because I worried about what would happen if I wasn't allowed to see him for one reason or another. If I have shared custody, that means, at least by law, I am covered in that aspect. But I'm also on parole, which is shamefully stereotypical, and I hate it. I hate the fact that I am on parole. Not only that, but because it does fit the stereotype that I am a young African American male who has to deal with that. But and the outlining situation is not domestic violence and exactly what it is. It's just when Jasmine told me about her activities, I attempted to kill myself, and police thought I was so much of a threat that they had to take me down. And because they thought I was a threat, that's a very, very loose term of aggravated assault on a police officer. Regardless, though, since she was the one who called because of my erratic behavior of me trying to kill myself, she became the victim. And since I'm on parole, she being a victim, I cannot communicate with her, making it very difficult for, now that the PFA is over, what can I do to see my son who is 5? I don't. I'm hoping he doesn't have a cell phone because he's 5. Who is he calling to make business plans with? And I cannot ignore the fact that she has tried to communicate. She tried to communicate with me. Granted, 3 times was when the PFA was still in effect. So technically, if I communicated with her, and I double checked this with, and I hate saying this, my parole officer, because I hate the fact that I have a parole officer. I checked with him, and he tells me, and not legally, but this is his own advice, off record, of course, that she can communicate with me until the moon splits into 15 different pieces and they all turn rainbow colors. The moment I reply to her, I violate. Because the PFA is to prevent me from communicating with her, not from her to communicate with me. So for the first 3 to 4 communications that she had in the past, maybe month or 2, I didn't feel comfortable replying only because I feared that would break the PFA guidelines that were set for me, which will send me back to jail, which will then reset all the progress and work that I've done in the past 3 years to better myself for my son, and to better myself for me. And I didn't want any kind of setback like that. And honestly, and you guys know how I feel about my wife, or estranged wife, actually. Someone informed me that's how the actual term is. That it wasn't easy. Even now it's not easy. But I know in order for my son to know who I am, on such a personal note, I need to stay out of jail. I need to stay out of that kind of trouble. Because they're not going to be like, oh, community service, I did deal with everybody else because of whatever reason. They'll throw me straight to jail. I have caused no trouble. I paid my fines. And even my PO, he's willing to write a letter of recommendation saying that I've been really good underneath his supervision, for lack of a better word. But it's still the idea that the parole guidelines say I cannot communicate with the victim, in this case, with the situation it is being my wife. Or her immediate family, which also includes Xavier. Now, I am in the process of working out paperwork because even if I would have changed that prior, I still would have had to have changed that with the PFA as well. But now that the PFA is actually up, I'm able to file with the courts. Can I please change this condition of my parole to allow me to communicate with her when it's related to my son? That way I don't have to fear losing freedom, because I'm not sure how many of you guys actually know what it's like to lose freedom. People go, oh, you're impeding on my freedom. Losing freedom is not is going to jail. And for people who know going to jail, that's the loss of freedom. That's the worst feeling in the world, to know that people who love you are on the other side of glass. You can't choose what you eat. You can't choose what you wear. You can't choose what you go. Hell, you can barely choose what you watch. There's certain people who have the ability to be like, I'm watching this. Or, no, I'm going to take that, jumpsuit from you because, take this. I don't give a fuck. I'll take that from the other dude. But it's not a good feeling to be in jail, prison, incarcerated of any sort, because that's the loss of freedom. The government felt necessary that you need to be separated from society for a while. So we have to take away your freedom. And it's like, oh, that sucks. And it's the worst feeling in the world. You need surrogates to be able to handle legal work for you. What is that sound? One second, guys. Ben? I'm going to have to answer that later. That's actually for a meeting that I'm going to have tomorrow. I'm sure he just wants to talk about the details. I feel that I don't want to do the wrong thing here. I don't want her to feel that I'm being difficult. I don't want him to feel that I'm running away from him, because I'm not. I don't want to do something that's going to end up ruining everything. I don't want to make moves that's going to make it seem that he fucked up again. I cannot let that happen. I cannot allow myself to go back to jail, and I need to find a way to do this right. So I talked to my PO. He says I need to fill out a motion to the courts to be able to change the condition of my parole. He said he's willing to put in a good word as to my behavior so far with how things have been going. I won't be off it until 2021 or 22. 14 plus 2, 16, 17, 18, 20, 22. 2022 is when I'll be off it, which is kind of ridiculous, but maybe some outside reason was behind it. But that's the best I can do legally, so I can be able to see him without them feeling that I'm a danger to anybody. I need to do things right. I need to do things by the book. And for the past 3 years, I've been trying to figure out, okay, what's the best way to do things? What's the best way to see my son? What's the best way to advance in my life? What's the best organization that's going to help me figure A, B, and C out? And amazingly, the Better Me Committee has helped with so much of that. Because for whatever reason, I couldn't figure it out on my own, because I'm not supposed to. I don't have resources like that in my head. I don't know the numbers like that, but with the agencies and the organizations that are part of the Better Me Committee, we were able to find out so much. We were able to find out who cannot help me because of whatever limitations that they do or do not have, to who can help me. Safe Haven can't help me in this case. Neither can Crossroads, and certain things designed for particular people in particular situations. My situation is very particular. Almost, I can't say unheard of, because I've seen other cases very similar to fathers who want to see their children, but there are things in the way. And I'm doing the best I can to overcome these obstacles. Please understand this, people who are listening, that I want to see my son. I do. I also want to do it right. I want to be able to see him without fear of going, hey son, how you doing? The cops are behind me, but before I go, I want you to know that I love you. I don't want to do it like that. I want to be able to say, hey son, I'm about to, let's go to McDonald's. Let's go to, GameStop or amusement park or something. Spend time with him. Get to know him. I haven't had that. And I never wanted to be, and this is what kind of messed me up today. I never wanted to be the kind of parent that goes, oh, I'm doing everything that I can, and everybody, and as a parent that I'm not. I've seen people go, oh, I'm doing everything that I can. I'm like, you don't got no job. You haven't made an effort to find a job. You might have been thinking about, oh, I really like the job, without actually going to the steps of, I need to go to a computer, be it a friend's computer, a personal computer, a library computer, career link. There are resources, and people will see that you're making the effort to find a job. You don't have your own place? Well, are you looking for it? Oh, that requires the first step of finding a job or some kind of money. People need yards cut. People need babysat. You know, people hustle. And amazingly, most of the people say, oh, I don't have the money. They are practicing in bad behavior. That requires money for a monetary exchange. I'm not going to tell you who. I'm not going to be in any detail about that, but that's how sometimes it is. And they're going, oh, I can't find a job. I don't have the money. I can't find my own place. I don't have a car. In the past 3 years, I have more or less found a way to financially better myself, to better my budgeting practices, to improve on the living environment. 3, be able to acquire a vehicle. Now, some of you don't know about that yet. That's in the works. Some, information on that is found on the Better Me Committee website if you ever have a chance to look at that. But I am trying the best I know how to. I am talking to the people who I feel might know more than I do, because that's what it is. It's information, and based on the information I acquire, I'm able to take action accordingly. I tried calling Safe Haven. I tried calling Crossroads. My next step, actually, because now it's closing time, I need to find a way to. Tomorrow I'm going to contact Community Action and see if they have any kind of branches that will be able to help me with the process of being able to see Xavier. I talked to a child specialist in the field, and she says she's willing to participate in the idea of the family therapy that I was talking about, being me and Xavier. And rather than, oh, he has supervised visits, I'm like, as cool as that is, that doesn't help us because I don't know enough by myself. But if a therapist is there, she'll be able to help and aid in the process of, okay, try this. When Xavier was going to school, well, Head Start, the teacher was there, so whenever I'm like, I don't know how to do this. Like, okay, well, try this, and we'll watch you try this, and we'll give you pointers on, okay, you're doing that right, you can improve on this area, so on and so forth. I want to do things right. I want to do things right, and I'm trying really hard with what I know and what I'm able to acquire informational-wise. I want to be a good dad, because I miss my son. And there are certain things I am afraid of, other than jail. Other than messing up with him. I worry about her. Not how she's going to take it. I don't think she really cares on that front, which is something I should have started doing ages ago. But it's because of that. It's tough being able to see the woman that you were willing to fight everybody for. And she's there against you. I don't know where this woman sits. I can hope and pray that she's willing to cooperate with me, work with me. And I have no way of communicating that with her. But I'm hoping that she might be able to find a way to meet me halfway legally, at the very least. Maybe, I don't know, talk to my PO, or maybe fill out some paperwork, some legal forms to be like, oh, I want this too. Or even whenever, well, since I said I filled out the shared custody thing, they're going to have a mediation. So hopefully whenever that comes around, they'll be able to actually go, okay, this is you, this is her, talk together. And it's not like, hostile. Hopefully we're able to work together for the benefit of Xavier, because that's what the meetings are for. What is best in the interest of Xavier? And I'm hoping that she's open-minded. I'm hoping that it works out. And I'm hoping that she understands the situation that I'm in. Because if she doesn't, as much as it's going to hurt me, it's going to hurt him more. And I'm not sure if you guys watched the last video. The hardest thing for me to do. That was the hardest thing for me to do. But I realized I didn't do that for Xavier. Honestly, he wasn't even part of the equation. But that is what made me think that maybe I'm doing this for all the wrong reasons. I need to remember, this is him. The reason I wear this necklace is to remind me this is what I'm supposed to represent to him. The man who is able to do everything in his power for the people who cares, for the people he cares about. And I hope that he's able to understand that. So I hope I'm doing the right thing. And I hope that I just hope people can understand what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. And if there's a better way for me to do something, suggest it. You know, this is YouTube. Put in the comments below. Let me know what I can do that won't mess up other plans. Other people are suggesting, don't just talk to her. And I'm like, no, that's going to send me straight to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect the $200. That's not just going to work unless something else is in play that will protect both myself, Xavier, and potentially even her. Because she's at the core of it, at the center of it, she's still Xavier's mother. So I have to also watch out for her benefit because I don't want him to lose that either. As much harm as it does to me to be able to see her, I have to keep in mind if I'm seeing her, it's for him. If I'm encountering her, it's for him. And I'm hopefully, if ever that situation comes around, she will understand that if I have to see Xavier's father, I have to make sure that it's not too hard on him because that will also affect our son. Mutual understanding. Compromising. That's what I'm looking for and that's what I'm hoping for. So thank you guys for listening. For those who do listen. I've talked enough. But thank you for listening and I hope I read some comments below and hopefully it helps me out. Alright? Good night. Adios. And I got work to do. See you guys later.